needed. So my name is Jacob Falkenberg. I'm the Communications and Member Services Director at Venture Portland. And this is the third in a series of several social media trainings that we're doing in conjunction with Busy Lizzie Social Media Marketing. So we're so happy to have Liz Smith here from Busy Lizzie, who's going to be talking about social media strategies for food and beverage businesses, because this is very specific kind of strategy that food and beverage businesses use. And if you're not using social media effectively, you're really missing out on some great, easy and free marketing opportunities. So Liz is going to get started in just a second, but just to cover a couple of housekeeping rules, please mute yourself if you're not speaking, just to avoid any interruptions. If you do have a question, feel free to drop it into the chat. We're going to leave some time for questions at the end of our presentation. And I think that's it. So thank you all for being here. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Liz Smith. Welcome, Liz.
Thank you so much, Jacob, and welcome everybody. So it would be helpful for me if you can change your name in your window to be your name plus your business or organization you're representing, and then we kind of see who's here. That would be excellent. And I am actually going to start with an icebreaker. I think that would be great. I did this one yesterday at a school that I work at part-time. So in the chat, if you would write down your favorite soup, as we have just entered soup weather, either one that you make, one that you enjoy. Maybe it reminds you of childhood. Maybe it's a country you've traveled to, but just put your favorite soup in the chat. And that's the first thing. And I will share my favorite soup, which is just, it's a very simple tomato soup. This time of year, I always want to eat tomato soup. And it's only got 3 ingredients. It's onions, tomatoes, and broth. That's it. And oh, sorry, 4, butter. And it's delicious. It's based on Marcella Hazan's tomato sauce recipe. And it's so super easy. And I'm telling you, it is the best soup recipe you'll ever make, and you'll never want to make another tomato soup recipe. So yes, let's see what we got going in the chat. Oh yes. Oh, Hungarian mushroom. I love that soup. Oh my goodness. Well, good. Now we've all got food on the brain. Nothing wrong with that first thing in the morning. Oh, broccoli and cheddar. Yes, yes. Avgo lemino. That was my favorite soup growing up because my neighbors across the street were Greek, and they would make it for me all the time, and I loved it. That's my nostalgic one. Oh, clam chowder. Yes. Chicken matzo ball. Yes. Especially this time of the year. Like, oh, I love it. My husband makes the best chicken matzo ball soup. Awesome, you guys. Thank you so much. So just a little backstory about me. So I've been doing social media for almost 9 years now, and I actually started in food and beverage. So I was working for a startup in San Francisco, and it was a food and beverage app. And in order to have the app run correctly, it was called Ultimate Food Fight. It was a customer nominated game where someone would say, this is the best burger in town, and someone would say, no, this is the best burger in town, and everybody would go and vote, and then they would win like a gift certificate to the winning business. It was really fun. And but what we found through that from setting up the accounts was that so many of the food and beverage accounts either didn't have social media, or they just didn't have time to do it, or they were doing it like really poorly, like just, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's like nobody sort of got into the business thinking, oh, and I'm also going to have to be an amazing visual marketer too. You know, it's just, oh, well, now you do. So that was like a little thing that happened when social media came about. But prior to that, I had worked with a lot of food and beverage businesses in the Bay Area. When I started my own company, I started with, I think I had all food and beverage. And so it's very near and dear to my heart. And I understand very, very well the struggles and how hard it is. So yeah, without further ado, let us get into the presentation. I am going to share my screen right now. And let me pull it up a little bit. How does that look to you guys? Can you see that okay? Can you give me a thumbs up or comment if you can't? You good? All right. Excellent. All right, food and beverage. So baked fresh. Your social media should be as fresh as your product. So when people go to look at your page, your Instagram or your Facebook or whatever that is, and it has something from like 2019, they're kind of like, are they still in business? What's going on with that? So people want to see fresh content. So here's the basic ingredients. So if you have multiple social media platforms, you want to have consistency. So say you have a logo, that's what should be in your profile picture. It shouldn't be, a picture of you in one and the logo in the next. Just be really consistent. You want brand consistency so people know they've landed on the right page if they're looking for you. And then one thing that I highly, highly recommend to people, you want to make it easy for people to take action, visit you, order from you, whatever that is. So put clear and correct information in your bio. And that's the part on Instagram or on Facebook that's just your little about section description, a little brief description, making smash burgers since 2015, your hours. And I know people's hours are changing all the time. It's really important to update your hours. There's nothing worse than a disgruntled person showing up on a day that you're now closed. Your location, in all the social platforms are international. So you want to make sure that people know that you're in Portland, Oregon, not in Portland, Maine, or somewhere else. So they know that this is a business that I can go visit. Your website, definitely, if this is where people are going to take action, again, put your website in the bio. Very important, and that your website is good and that it is updated. Up-to-date posts, we talked about that. And then make sure that in your feed, you do put holiday closings. Say that you're going to be closed, leaving early for Labor Day or whatever that looks like. Just a very simple graphic, something to say that you're closed. Again, you don't want disgruntled people saying, wow, I had no idea it was going to be closed. I wouldn't have driven all the way over here. All right. Here's your equipment. I am also a baker, so we do it sort of baking fashion. So website, again, have a decent website that's easy to take action. It doesn't have to be fancy. It has to give, again, pertinent information, where you're located, maybe your menu, if you have places that people can order from, like Grubhub, for example, very easy links to make it as few clicks as possible for that action to take place. And then this is something important that people often forget about. You really want to claim and update your Google business listing. Because when people are searching for, cheesecake, they're not searching that on Instagram, they're searching that on Google. So you want to have a really nicely, professionally looking Google business that pops up on the side when they look at you. You want to add pictures, you want to have your information, let people know they can give you reviews there. A lot of people don't think about that platform for reviews. It's a great one for reviews. Make sure your address is correct and updated. And then I tell people that used to be that the way of thinking was you have to be on Facebook, you have to be on Instagram, you have to be on TikTok, you have to be on all these. I say pick one, just do one. And the one that I usually choose because it's so visual and full of less noise is Instagram. All right. Going back to Google My Business, just some things to point out about it. If you fill out your page well, and I gave you an example of a business in my neighborhood who did a good job, it increases your ranking in search results. It's tied to Google Maps. It's easy to use. There's analytics and it's free. So there's no reason to not do it. Just sit down and spend 15 minutes filling it out or however long you want so that it looks nice and filled out by you, because otherwise it defaults to what Google can pull from information that they find about your business, and it never looks as good as you would do it. All right. Yum. And that looked good. With the pictures that I have in this slideshow, I also put the Instagram handle of where I pulled them from, just so you know. because I always like to give a shout out to the businesses doing a good job. This is Sparrow Bakery. They make beautiful, mostly laminated type pastries, and they do a fabulous job of their photos, which is what we'll go into. All right. So the first thing I really want to talk about, and it's because we're talking about mostly Instagram, which is a visual platform, you want to get up close and personal. I want when I see a photo to feel like I could just reach through the screen and take a bite. It makes me want to take a bite of it. I have to have that. So, food photography. I absolutely, sorry if anybody's vegetarian, I absolutely love this photo. This is Jada's Soul for Eats. If you have not eaten there, it is fantastic. And these are the wings. And oh my gosh, I mean, could you not just reach over and pick one up? So a couple of things to look at in this photo that I really like about this photo. And you don't, again, you don't have to be a professional. iPhone is great. It's close up. There's a lot of texture and color. There's a really nice background with that checkered paper. Again, very simple. And it just shows me what my meal could look like. So I'm immediately in the moment where I'm about to eat that. And again, they're just zooming in. The other thing to note about this photo, it's natural light. There is a huge difference between a photo of food taken in natural light and taken in artificial light. And this one's done in natural light. This one I love too. This is from Backyard Social. I love the fact that it actually has a human element in it, a hand holding that drink. You can, again, put yourself in the moment. You're about to take that sip. The lighting is beautiful. It really showcases the color of the drink. And then it gives a little bit of background, like it's in its place. So Backyard Social has an amazing backyard patio, as in the name. And you get a little glimpse of that. So it's in the place where you might be enjoying that drink. So you get a sense of like, oh, there's my experience. This one I love. This is from Jamaica House. And we have a beautiful mouth-watering dish in front of us with, again, a little bit of something in the background. Those are just the flowers they normally have on the table. You know, the drink selection is huge. So you're telling a little bit of a story here, right? It's the tropical colored flowers, the delicious food from Jamaica, the drinks, just a little bit of something. And it's not, again, this isn't a perfect photo. I can see on the counter, there's like they must have just gotten a drink delivery that they haven't put away yet. That doesn't matter. You don't have to stage it so much. You just want to be in the moment, good photo, and make sure the food is the number one thing and that looks the best. That caramelization on those bananas, oh my God, it looks so good. And then this one from St. Jack's is a little bit further away. They do beautiful plating, so it's almost like artwork, so they're kind of showing that off a little bit. But one thing to notice in this photo, aside from the fact that, again, it's natural light, it's really showing off that food. I love the angle of this because it's not quite from above. It's sort of slightly above and looking out onto the table. And then again, this isn't a perfect photo. They just put it on the table and then there's stuff in the background. It doesn't matter, but it's in the place where you're going to be enjoying that food. So I like that. It feels real to me. It doesn't feel too staged. It feels like that could be my real experience. And that brings me into my next slide. You are not only selling a product, you are selling an experience. So your social media should really give somebody the sense of what it's like to come and enjoy your food or drink or product, right? So, this food cart, this is showing a couple of different things. Somebody has their gloves on, it's safe, right? They're taking it from them. Maybe they're going to go sit in this sunny exterior that's over here. You're telling these little tiny stories with your photos. This one is from Derby and Kenton. And this point of view, I really like. It's the point of view of you, the viewer, are sitting at the table about to sip that drink and eat that food. So it puts you right there in the moment. Imagine this is you in that moment, shows the beautiful patio. Again, natural light looks great and the food looks amazing, but it looks pretty real. It looks like somebody just sat down and they're about to enjoy that. Here's a specific one to COVID. So Ned Ludd, this was from maybe like last year or maybe the beginning of this year. They were doing a lot of takeout meals, but that's not what I originally thought of when I thought of Ned Ludd. So I really appreciated being able to see all the different, I think this was a chicken curry dish that they were sending out for takeaway meals. And I'm like, oh my God, that looks good. I could totally order that and enjoy that at home. So it shows their shift into current times and what that looks like. And again, communicates that they're even doing that. Somebody might see that and go, gosh, I had no idea they were doing delivery. That's great. I'm going to deliver or get it for somebody for their birthday as a special treat. And then this one from Matt's Barbecue, I also love. You can imagine sitting outside at these tables. You've got a bunch of dishes to share with your safety pod. But again, it's not a perfect photo. It looks like it was just captured in the moment because someone's shopping bag is right there. There's a couple cute dogs there, but it's telling me a story. Like, go shopping, come grab some barbecue, bring your dogs. We're dog friendly. Sit at our outdoor tables. And it gives you can't even see the people's faces, which is kind of nice. Not every customer wants their face in your social media photos, but you see human people, enjoying their time. I really, really love this photo. It makes me want to just be right there. Plus food looks awesome. And then we're back to backyard social. So they recently just got like a big tent for the colder weather. And so they're just showcasing this is what people look like sitting in our backyard. See how nicely distanced it is. We've got these cute lights, any big changes like that, that'll make somebody say, oh yeah, I really want to go do that. And again, you're not really showing people's faces. You're just showing the backs of them. So you're not violating anybody's privacy, but you're just giving the experience as well. All right. Well, people wanted to know what is in your food. So, you as the chef, as the owner, as the manager, and, my guess is that I know the food industry is very much a labor of love. So if you've taken the time to really source amazing ingredients, you need to tell that story. People really like to feel connected to the process and the people who do it. So for example, sorry, my dog's snoring in the background. Can you all hear that? People often think it's a cat, but it's a little dog snoring right here for a little background noise. So I don't know how many of you guys have been to Noble Rot, but they grow a lot of their vegetables on their rooftop garden. This is a very special thing that not every restaurant offers. So look at that beautiful picture of the carrots they just harvested. And now when you see a plate of food with carrots in it, you have this connection to like where it came from and the intentionality of farm to table, literally from the roof to your plate. It really tells a nice story. It feels good to know what those good ingredients are and that they care enough to do that. So I just love that. Process photos are some of my favorites. This one is from a pastry business in my neighborhood, French Kiss. And this is something that I love that they do. So they had bought these berries at the farmer's market. And so they did a post showing both the berries and the finished product, but they tagged the farm in their photo. And I thought that was so nice. Again, it's like we intentionally went to this farm. We support local farmers. It just feels good. So not only does that pastry look delicious, and it is because I had it, it feels good. So you're creating like an emotional experience as well as just a sensory one. And then this guy, this is from Daydreamer Coffee. So they make their own Nutella. So they were posting this is actually a screenshot of a video where they're just pouring this Nutella into a container. It's not fancy. It's a coffee food truck. I mean, it's a truck, a coffee cart. So they have this little tiny space, but they managed to take this video of this Nutella going into this container, and it just makes you want to go there and eat it. And you also think, my gosh, this is so special. Like, who makes their own Nutella? That's pretty cool. Or we have another coffee place in the neighborhood who makes their own oat milk. And if you don't tell that story, or if you wait for somebody to come in to tell that story, how are they going to know? Social is the first place to do that. And maybe it makes the difference between whether they choose your place or another place. And by the way, happy National Coffee Day. Speaking of coffee. So people are going to be making choices today. Make them choose yours. All right, so I'm gonna take a little bit of a pause, and I thought that we could maybe do an exercise together. And I'm going to stop my share for a second. We'll come back to it. So I wanted to ask you guys if you would just do a small experiment for me and take something that's in your vicinity and take a picture of it with your phone 4 different ways. And the way I want you to do, you can choose the ways you do it, but the way I would recommend is do front view, top view, natural light, and then shadow light. And just try that. I'm going to give you a few minutes. It's not something we'll probably be able to share, but I just want to hear about your experiences with that. So I'm going to do it too. I'm going to do it with you guys. I'm going to take some kind of it doesn't even have to be a food item. It can be like, I'm just looking around at all the stuff I have around me. I happen to have like a glass around me, or actually I'm going to do my coffee. If you're drinking a beverage, coffee is a good one to do. So I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it a few different ways. You can watch me if you want. I like taking food photography and food photographs. And for me, it's fun to experiment. And our phones are so good and smart. They make that easy. So what I'm doing now is I took my camera and I reversed it. So I'm just taking a picture of my cup, which I love, which came from a local potter, and myself. And I'm going to do I'll do a top down one, maybe with my dog in the background. That'll be cute. Sort of gives you that homey sense. Who doesn't love a cute dog or cat or iguana or whatever animal you like? All right. I'm going to do a top down one. Let's see. I mean, really your photo studio is wherever you are. And then I'm going to do one in the natural light. Ooh, that's not good. Let's see. Okay. And you guys can just let me know when you're done. I don't know if you can see these. That's the one I just took of me holding my cup. It sort of puts you in the moment. I didn't really feel like having my face in it, but it's just a nice little pic, right?
It's a cute cup.
I love this cup. This is the one I get out during fall time. This cup means it's fall.
Yeah.
It's got my owl on it. It's also handmade by like a friend. It's got all the things. And then here's the one with my dog. Right? Just cute. I have a bunch of like stickers and cards on my table. So I just did a top view with just some texture, something interesting in the background. It's just literally whatever's lying here. And then I did one in natural light that doesn't look that great, but that's my throwaway one. So curious. And if you could just raise your hand or use the raise hand feature, did anybody, what happened when you guys did that photo? Was there anything that you learned from it? Was it easy? Was it hard? Do you like the way they came out? Anybody? Did anybody do the exercise?
It was easy.
Anybody who's not great at taking photos? Emma says she needs to wash her hair. I know we've all during COVID, but some of those things kind of slack a little bit. That's okay. You don't have to show yourself. You can just speak too. If you raise your hand, I'll call on you. Bridget, I'm going to call on you. What did you do?
Okay. I'm a chatterbox anyway. So can you see, let's see, where does this go? I'm kind of, okay. So that is a pencil sharpener.
I love it.
So I get like the regular one. Oops. And then showing actually, where is it? There it is. What it actually is. It's actually a pencil sharpener. It's so cute.
I actually would not have known what that was had you not had the pencil in there. So that was good storytelling right there.
Yeah, I really like this one.
I do
An
too.
eyeball looking down at you.
Those look really good. Those are ready to go.
You're right about the Apple phones, but not everybody can afford those. So I don't know.
Well,
It's
you know
pretty
what? That's why I'm saying natural light is your friend. It doesn't matter how old your phone is and how it's good. It's going to give you the detail and the definition and make the colors look appetizing. Whereas
Yeah.
that dark light, not so great.
Yeah.
Not so great. All right, one more person. Anybody else want to share a photo experience or a photo on the screen? Who can I call on? Who can I call on? Jeff, did you do anything? Did you do it?
I did. The biggest takeaway is my room is not very photo worthy. I can share if you want. I pretty much got 3 angles of the same boring wall decor.
That's all right.
Hold on one second here. So we have, I don't know if you can even see this, a little bit of shelving there.
Oh yeah.
And this is literally the same thing, just from a different angle.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Lighting hasn't changed. I guess this is the only real variation.
Yeah, that's a cool angle. I like that a lot.
I think coming from the side or an angle gets rid of some of the imperfection.
Yep.
Perhaps.
Yep. I take a lot of photos where there's a lot of chaos going around, but all you're seeing is the part I want you to see, which is like the part I've cleared off and put a nice little vase of flowers behind it. So and my point with this was just to say, it's not rocket science. All you have to do is fiddle with it a little bit. It actually should and could be fun. And you know, there are just these few little tips and tricks that make it easier and make your photos look better. So anyway, I hope you guys try that. We're going to go back to my slideshow right now. And we are back to our Nutella. Yum. I'm going to have to go over there today. I'm marketing to myself. All right. So one of the beauties about social media is being able to take us behind the scenes. And these days, everybody wants to feel like their favorite restaurant, bar, food truck are their like personal friends, that they know the inside scoop and they know all about it. And so this is an opportunity to sort of take people behind the scenes and show off what you and your staff do best. All right, we're back to the Jamaica House. I have it on the brain. So Simba is the owner and chef at the Jamaica House. And it is a common thing in our neighborhood to see and smell the smell of barbecue. And Simba out there in his very Jamaican colors, working on the barbecue. And so somebody took this great picture of him that's like, oh my God, yes, I want to go see Simba. I want to go have, you know, the jerk chicken or the jerk tofu today. And I know it's going to smell so good. And it just puts you right there in the moment. Does happy feelings. This is one of my favorite pizza places, Baby Doll. And the staff is just like, they're just right in the middle of you know, service for the evening, but they're just having fun. And it's just real. And they're wearing their masks. So it just gives that, again, that little safety. The sauce looks absolutely fantastic, but it's a real kitchen, right? There's stuff everywhere and you got the knives on the side and the oven's going, but you're like, these people are fun because Baby Doll is fun. They always play really good music. So that just gives that atmosphere. Also, if somebody's looking for a job and you're hiring, it's nice to show kind of the culture of your business. This makes me think that this is a fun place to work. So don't forget that like secondary audience is potential hires. This one is from the Rum Club, and it says, and the caption literally said something like, imagine yourself on your birthday having a pina colada. And it's like, yeah, this person's about as excited as you're going to be to have this pina colada. I know I am. And then this one is from Proud Mary, great coffee place too. And I love this picture because it shows like this level of expertise, you know, that they're serious about coffee. But again, it's a real person. You've got the beautiful steam coming up. This may or may not be a professional picture. This one looks a little bit nicer than your average picture, but I just really love the storytelling here. I love the one piece of hair coming down. I just think that's just, I don't know, it's just a beautiful photo. And again, it has that great natural light. So you can just, you're right there in the experience. It makes you want to, you know, smell that coffee. This one is a food truck, Little Tibet, family-owned business. And then again, the picture that they showed, the in-process pictures, they're getting your bowl of food ready, got their gloves on, right? Very tidy kitchen, and the food just looks amazing. And maybe the chef is like sweating and looking terrible that day and doesn't want a picture. Hands pictures are great. And then these are the people who run it, who are just the nicest people, which, I mean, their smiles kind of tell it all, right? All right, specials. So this is something that I know that sometimes restaurants struggle with. It's like the chef is coming up with a daily special. Everybody's rushing around to get everything ready. Nobody has time to take a picture and post it, right? But specials are important because they create buzz, they create urgency, they create engagement, and they create connection. So, it's like, ooh, that special looks so good. I've got to go over there right now or I'm going to miss it. Or maybe there's a story connected where the idea of the special came from. Here's an example of that. So Greg Connolly is the chef at Slim's, who I follow on Instagram, and he actually posts a lot of his specials to his personal, which is interesting. I don't know if that's the number one way to do it. I would post it to both, but I think it does feel very personal. So he posted, sometimes you don't have time to post the dish because you're right in the middle of making it, but oftentimes it'll be on the board. So people can read. So you can just post the picture of the board that you just wrote, or you can just write it out in a very simple graphic and post that. I mean, that's enough to get me to want to have it, reading all the ingredients. And then I love the caption on this one where he says, my special tonight is linguine tossed in my family recipe red sauce. It's my personal favorite thing to eat and make. This is what I make when I'm feeling homesick. Let me treat you like family. That is a beautifully written caption. And it makes me want, like, I know not only how it's going to taste from the ingredients, I kind of know how I'm going to feel when I'm going to eat it. And that's pretty great. That's better than me making it myself for sure. This is Affogato. Again, it's not a fancy graphic. They just took a picture of one of the things, but also their sandwich board outside. But otherwise, I would have, what if I didn't walk by that day? I would have had no idea that they had all this good stuff. So Sugar Pine Drive, and you guys are probably familiar with, they have a bazillion followers. They do very, very professional pictures. So I'm not saying anybody's need to be this good. However, one of the things I love about this is the composition of the beautiful plate, the person in a very casual outfit serving it to you. It feels extremely homey. The lighting is natural. The food looks fabulous. I love the human engagement part of this photo. And then again, this is a special and they do a very good job describing it in the caption. They get a lot of likes, 833. We should all be so lucky. All right. And then I wanted to invite you guys to think about sharing the love. I mean, my guess is that people love your food or drink. So they like to share about it. How are you going to share what they share? Used to be that people would do like testimonials. They would take a Yelp review, an excerpt from it, and stick that on their social. But that's even too many steps, I think, nowadays. What I think has become the new testimonials is if somebody tags you in their photo, a very, very easy way to share that is to share it in your stories, Instagram stories. And if you've never done Instagram stories before, it actually took me a really long time to start using them. They are fantastic. A lot of people see them. They're so easy to share. For example, if you are going to reshare somebody's content in your feed, you have to have a reposting app. You have to go to that app. You have to send it back to your Instagram. There's just a bazillion steps. Sharing into your stories is a one-button process. But one thing I urge you to do is to tag the original poster in your story, because otherwise they're never going to know that you shared their content. And what's cool about it is their content is going to look different from yours, right? Because it's their point of view. And you've already got somebody saying how great your food is, and you didn't even have to do anything about that. So you've got, from this one, Sugar Pine Drive-In, had just a little kid enjoying the food, family friendly, very cool. Somebody, Sparrow Bakery shared somebody's like breakfast little vignette here, but they added a poll to it, so it becomes interactive. Friedland Spirits, which was one of my favorite distilleries. Somebody did a really beautiful, one of the things that they're known for is their beautiful bottles. And so somebody put it into their home decor and it just looks so great. It's like, oh yeah. And it's just a very, very easy way to show how others are enjoying your product. All right.
Do the Instagram stories stick around? Or are they the ones that
They
disappear?
don't. They're only there for 24 hours. But what I suggest is if you really want to save them, you can save them to the highlights. And you can do something like put, customers or testimonials. And once you post the story, you have an option to hit the highlight button and it will save in the highlights, which are those little circles that are right underneath your bio. And that way it saves it forever. And that's actually a great point, because it's like having a little folder of testimonials with all these great stories that somebody can just look at when they go to your page rather than looking through your whole feed. People love stories. They love reels and they love stories.
Great, thanks.
Yeah. All right, some other final thoughts I wanted to share with you guys. Be yourself. Some of the businesses I like a lot show their values. For example, Daydreamer Coffee, who I showed you guys in another slide, they have a free lending library that's an anti-racist library. I'm like, there's their values. And if you align with those values, it makes you want to support them even more. So, don't be afraid to show who you are, what you believe in, because people are, especially during COVID, longing for connection. They want their transactions to they want to feel something and feel connected to people. So it's really important to show that if you're comfortable with that. Invite your audience to the table, just like Greg was doing in his post about his family linguine. Come sit with me. It feels very good. Food and storytelling go hand in hand. So tell a story about, why you started your business. Don't forget about, sometimes people only talk to the audience of the people who already come there, but don't forget there's going to be new people all the time. So there's nothing wrong with doing a flashback post to when you started your business, why you started it. And in fact, take a picture of your entire menu for some of those new people. The menu is the #1 thing people search for. So just take a photo of it. Your existing customers will be reminded of the things that they love. And your new customers will be like, oh, that's handy. Ooh, that looks good on that menu. I'm going to go order that today. And then show up for your community. So what I mean by that is maybe where your location is, you've got, neighboring businesses on either side. Say you're a food truck and you're in a pod. Something really great that I've seen businesses do is 2 food trucks will offer a special. If you get a drink from X, you get $5 off your meal from Y. The great thing is that both businesses post it, and now they've shared their audiences, because their audience is probably slightly different. So now you've reached a whole bunch more people. And it also shows just community engagement, supporting other small businesses, or you can do it with like a non-food and beverage business, buy a pair of shoes at X and get a coupon for $1 off your cookie or your cookie. I'm hungry. Off your coffee at Y down the street. So it's just a really nice thing to do. And again, you're just reaching far more people. So showing up for your community, showing who you are, showing why small business is important, and then telling people easily how to do it is a great thing to do. And that is the end of my presentation, but I did want to leave. I knew you guys would probably have a lot of questions and hopefully have answers for you. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I actually have not checked the chat. So I'm going to do that for 2 seconds. Oh, Emma. So Emma owns Chris Salads. And does anybody use Instagram shopping for restaurant food? I've actually not seen that. It's an interesting idea, but I guess it would have to go back to, like, with stores, it goes to their Shopify. It's usually connected to that. And so it goes into a cart and you're checking out, and, that transaction is happening. Because so many food places, if it's, for example, like delivery, would have to connect to whatever that delivery party is. I'm not exactly sure how that would work, but it's not a bad idea because it is more immediate to see the beautiful picture of food and click on it. Kind of like the New York Times, when you look at the chocolate chip photo, you go to the link and it takes you to the recipe. It's an interesting idea. I just don't know exactly how that would work.
And it's the same as Facebook, right? I mean, they are the same
Yep.
company. So
They are the same company.
Okay, so okay. People have does everybody have Facebook sales tools? Anybody shopping on or selling on Facebook?
I don't know a lot of food and beverage that do.
Okay.
We're able to have a click through on Facebook to where it'll take them to our order page, and they can actually see the price of the item. Like, we can input each individual food item in Facebook, but Instagram, we really struggled. We tried to do that through Instagram and we just could not get it to work. And they said they could do it, and we even partnered with a third party company that said they could do it as well, and that we were never able to do it. But yeah, to your point, Liz, it would be so nice, right, if you posted a beautiful picture of a salad and somebody could just click through and go right to that item and purchase it, even if it was just for takeout and they couldn't get it delivered. I mean, I'd be fine with that. So yeah, I just didn't know if anybody else knew something I didn't know. Right? How do you do that?
I haven't seen a lot of it. It's not that it doesn't exist, but I just haven't seen it very often. But that could only mean that nobody has time to figure it out and set it up. So I don't know, and I will look into that. And then Joy asked a question. Due to COVID, do you suggest that businesses list whether they are doing takeout only, dine-in, outdoor seating, et cetera, in their bio? Absolutely. Because sometimes if you're not doing dine-in, but a lot of your old pictures are dine-in, that's going to be confusing to people. So, and also if you're doing catering, a lot of businesses have really stayed afloat doing catering. So that's a great thing to list as well that people don't automatically think of. And then hang on, chat. I love your guys' comments. Lighting makes it look dramatic. Yes, indeed. Okay. Steam makes you feel warm. Yeah.
Looks like Alexa has their hand up.
Oh, yes. There we go. Yep.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Alexa, and I've been helping my mom with her small bakery social media. So she focuses on Mexican pastries, and this session has been super helpful. So thank you so much. I was just wondering, I feel like a lot of the suggestions that you were giving were for kind of brick and mortar shops or places that had a set location. And I was wondering if you had any suggestions for folks that had businesses that weren't necessarily at one location, or for example, we do pop-up shops at farmers markets or some marketing or some, like, what are they called? I guess craft events that come up. And if you had any suggestions about that, I'd really appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm afraid to say your name because I think that my device over here is going to think that I'm asking it to do something. So.
Story of my life, don't worry.
I know. Oh boy. But yes, do you remember the picture that I showed of French Kiss Patisserie with the berries and the pastry?
Yeah.
So there's similar thing. They were cooking out of a commissary kitchen, and they're doing farmers markets, or they sell sometimes to coffee shops, or actually what they were doing when they first started their business was that you would order online and go pick it up at a location.
Oh, okay.
And so I would definitely look at their Instagram. They do a fabulous job with their branding, and they really do that deep focus into ingredients. They make their own caramel. They make, I think it's like a goat milk caramel. I mean, they really, really take that sort of like, give you the experience and then tell you how to get it. So that, again, that's why your photography is going to be so important, because that's what's going to be selling your product. People aren't going to, there's nowhere to wander into and go, oh, I'm going to take 5 of those and 3 of those. You're going to really have to like sell each one individually. But Lisa does a lot of process photos, or she does a lot of really cool, lining up the pastries looks really neat. I would definitely take a look at her marketing. Also, her business name is French Kiss. So there's a lot of like kiss language fun things that they do, a little bit of the French thing. The thing that I love that she did when she was working out of that kitchen was that she really gave a shout out to the owners of that business. And she actually even created some pastries. It was a Mexican owned business. and she gave some, she did like horchata cream puff. So she combined the like French cooking with like her, like the Mexican cooking. She just great connections. She did a coffee filled cream puff that she got from Two Stroke Coffee, gave them a shout out. So again, all those neat connections and calling out your ingredients and all that, that would really apply to you. And also telling your story. You know, I'm a baker, so I feel like bakers all have really good stories to tell about why they bake and how they learned and all that. Definitely tell your story, because again, if you're not in a consistent place, people aren't walking in and saying, hey, how did you get started in this business? And then a really clear path to where to find you. So I do social media for our farmers market here, and the baked goods ones, or all of the vendors, just generally put up a graphic of here's where to find us this week. And that's super helpful.
Thank you so much. That was so helpful.
Yeah, and also I would recommend, if you're looking for a place to do graphics, or if I just said graphics and that scared you, use Canva, canva.com. It's a fantastic resource. It'll make you look like a graphic designer, even if you're not. It's quick and easy to use, and it's free. You can actually get, I don't want to call them stock photos, but usable photos from Unsplash if you don't have a ton of photos. Or just, yeah, again, if you're going to be closed for Labor Day and you need a graphic to put up there, you just get one from Canva and you will be happy. You can do them in multiple sizes as well. So that's really helpful for whatever platform you're using.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, and Jacob put the link in the chat. And French Kiss also. Yeah, there, Lisa's a personal friend of mine and she's great. She started her business doing door-to-door delivery too. So the fact that you could get beautifully made French pastries delivered to your door was such a draw. It's like, where does that even happen? And she started her business in COVID. So, and now she's looking for like finally like a retail space, but that's not how she started. So I would definitely look at hers for sure.
What I like about Canva is the template sizes for a Facebook header or an Instagram cover, or, you know, they already have the right pixels and the right sizes, everything already formulated for you. It's nice.
Exactly. And if you do the paid one, I feel like, I can't remember how much it is a month, maybe like $12 a month. I can't remember. It's not a lot. If you do, what I love about it is if you do an Instagram graphic, that's usually where I start. You can resize that same graphic for a Facebook event, for a Facebook post, for a cover photo without having to redo it. And so I find that very convenient. Other questions?
Liz, I love how you stress the importance of storytelling, because I think a lot of food and beverages businesses, they know that they need to show off their food, you know, front and center, but they don't really think about what makes it specially unique. You know, is there a specific ingredient that is in season right now that you're using, or is this a family recipe? You know, I think that's the stuff that really gets people interested and engaged and puts that kind of personal human element into it that kind of sets, you know, a small business apart from, you know, a larger chain. But I think a lot of people forget also the just kind of setting those expectations about your space as well. I noticed myself, especially during the pandemic, going on to Instagram pages for restaurants to figure out, you know, what does their patio look like? Do they have a patio?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I'm going on a date, what does the inside look like? Is this a romantic spot? You know, what's the lighting and the decor look like? And I feel like that's something food and beverage businesses need to focus on too, on a regular basis. You know, there's a lot of people that might not have been to your space before, so you want to make sure that they know what they're getting themselves into. Otherwise, they might not take a chance. So it's not all about the food. It's, you know, that's the super important thing. But I think businesses also need to focus on their physical spaces too, if they have them.
Yep, that's a very, very good point. The other thing too is if you have a new patio or you have something new or just some really good content you want to share. So as a content creator, I'm always looking for shareable content. What really helps me is if somebody tags me in their content, then I pretty much guaranteed to see it. So if you want to, so a while ago, I think it was Travel Portland was doing a feature on patios. Maybe take a picture of your patio and tag Travel Portland. Right? How are they going to see it otherwise? There's so much content. Or, you know, tag, there's a campaign going around here for Portland. maybe if you tag them, they might feature your stuff. It doesn't hurt in any way. So again, just don't assume that people are going to be seeing your stuff in their feed. If you really want some of the big guys to see it and possibly share it, just go ahead and tag them. Tag Venture Portland. We're right here. They're great social media. So yeah, just remembering to do that, because again, when somebody tags me, it doesn't guarantee that I'm going to share it, but it guarantees I'm going to see it. So that's a good one. A lot of people tag Travel Portland. You can, and by tag, I mean the @ sign with their name. You can also hashtag it, but it's less likely they're going to be looking at the hashtags, and more likely if you just tag them directly that they're going to see it. You can also tag them in the photo, just where it says tag, and then you just put their name in there too, if you don't want it in the copy block of your caption. What else, guys? What's the biggest challenge you're having in social media right now? Is it time to do it? Taking pictures? What's hard? Keeping up, feeding the beast, as they say.
How would you recommend that a business gains followers? I think that's hard, especially if you're just starting out. Yeah, how do you build that audience?
That's where I would, tag people, share, because usually when you tag people and you're new, they'll follow you. They're like, oh, who's this? And they're just it's just like a one click, they're going to follow you. Or again, do a special deal with another business that has a really good following. And if they're sharing your content, chances are a bunch of their followers are going to follow you. Don't pay for followers. I don't really highly recommend a lot of sponsored or paid for posts. I recommend getting organic content that, from people who are actually going to take action and visit you or buy your product. And it's a slow build. It takes a while. Just be patient. But again, it's really nice when people do tag your stuff and share, and you put it in the testimonials, and then that influences people to think, oh, I want to go have that experience. Or if you know some food bloggers around, tag them too. Maybe your new great thing, they want to go try it out. And then, oh my gosh, once they share it, you've got an influencer sharing it and it goes everywhere. Oh, that's a good one. JC Plays with Food. That's a great handle. I know that one. Joy, do you want to talk about that for a second? You're on mute over there.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I have 2 accounts that I personally use. So I have my JC Plays with Food, and I've been doing that, maybe since 2017 or so. And yeah, I mean, that's a great one for me anyway, to connect with food and beverage folks, eaters, drinkers, as well as restaurants, food carts, makers who, deliver special products. Anyway, it's really fun. And, my piece is I follow a lot of other places, and, I think of it as a two-way street. So it's not just me posting something and hoping people will like it. I'm going into their content and liking it as well. And if I have an opportunity to say yum or put in a smiley emoji or whatever, right, to have that true engagement. So it's not just, like, hey, look at me, I'm not looking at you, right? It's trying to do that two-way street, even, 10 minutes a day. You can go through a lot of, get to a lot of people, get to a lot of likes. And I've really built my following that way. I didn't know anything about social media until late 2017. I'd never had a Facebook account or anything. But it kind of was a life changer for me, really, because I started posting about food and beverage, and then I started to hear from restaurants, and Eater PDX contacted me to write articles for them. I mean, it really was, and then I started my own small business as a culinary coach. And that all really started from social media. So, I mean, it really was a life changer for me.
That is great advice. Thank you, Joy. And yeah, if you have any time in your life, and I know people don't have time, don't forget to, when you're signed into your account, comment on other people's stuff. Like be engaged. It is absolutely a two-way street. So if there's a business that you really like and you can say it looks awesome, or I'm going to have to come try that, because you're a customer as well as a business, right? And that really, people will see it in the comments. They might come over and like your page. That business will support you. It's a really great way to do that. Awesome. And I see that was a great idea, Bridget, to have people put their handles in the comments. And so we will save that. That's great. And you can, go ahead and follow people. You've just got a bunch of new people to follow and to follow you.
It looks
All
like
right.
Heather had a question just about hashtags,
Oh.
because it seems like people were
Oh my
using them
gosh.
for a while and now they're not as important. What do you think about the
I know,
importance?
I just rolled my eyes because it's like, at one time they told us we needed like, 30 hashtags. And then we were told like we need, only 10. Now they're saying 5. I've kind of jumped a little bit off of the hashtag urgency a little bit. I guess I would tag things that people might search for. So again, if you have smash burgers and people like to search that subject, perhaps. The other thing that I heard that Instagram doesn't like is when you copy and paste your hashtags, which is what I used to recommend to people. Just like have them somewhere, just copy and paste them so you don't have to write them every time. 2 or 3 hashtags is fine if you do them. If you don't do them, don't feel bad about it. I think better content is more important than hashtags, honestly.
And I agree with that, unless it's something very specific to a community that may be seeking, like hashtag vegan,
Yes.
right? So something very, very specific. So you've got vegans who may be visiting Portland. So vegan Portland, something like that. But otherwise, if it's just like Portland, food cart, burgers, it doesn't play well enough. There's so much to wade through then that nobody bothers to do it.
And it's messy. And then if you don't want it to be messy, you have to format it a certain way. And I'm like, it's already too many steps to do this post and I'm not going to do it. So I'm just, whatever can get your content out there, make it easy on yourself. Don't worry about it. Just make it look appetizing so I can come eat it or drink it. All right.
Thanks so much, Liz.
Time. Yeah.
Yeah, and thanks for everybody for being here. I know it's early and you've all got your own businesses to run, so thanks for taking the time to join us today, and thanks to Liz from Busy Media on sharing that. We do have another webinar coming up next month. I think that's going to focus on an Instagram deep dive. So new information about Instagram, getting into a little bit more detail about using stories and Instagram Live and some of the other features that we weren't able to cover today. So make sure to subscribe to our email list so you are getting all the up-to-date information on when those webinars are happening. And we'd love to see you all next time. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day, and we hope to see you soon. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Happy National Coffee Day.